Yo,
What it do? What it do?
it's your boy TEZZ,
And this your boy CL Cool.
and this is your favorite podcast.
I still love pro wrestling. ... I think.
Don't forget them 3 dots.
Hey man, please just don't forget the 3 dots.
Man, it's been a crazy week, bro.
What a week.
And we started off with a bang. Well, actually, we're going to get to my boy Bray, because everybody know that's my dude. That's my dude.
Yeah.
We're going to get to Bray.
Yeah, we didn't get to do the Friday Night SmackDown review. Like I said, we're just two normal men just working in life. And so we're in up there in that status where we can just watch every show and just come on here and just, give y'all our review. So, just bear with us.
Oh, yeah. But, with viewers like you, listeners like you, and contributors, I emphasis contributors to the Cash App and things like that, we can get to that point to where we can focus 100% on the podcast.
Well, we surely can. So, let's talk about Raw. Raw? We're gonna talk about Raw. I like Raw this week, but we'll get to that at the end.
Okay.
About what we thought about it. So you remember last week when we were talking about the whole Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar thing, and we were talking about how if Lashley's a heel, and we'll find out this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if I found out Brock Lesnar was a heel or a face this week.
I don't know either. I mean, because it started off with Bobby, which I figured it would, based off how he was acting last week. I mean, that's the only way you can really start it. And he called out Brock. And, of course, Brock being Brock, he answered the call.
Yeah.
And it went down.
He comes down the ramp, talking about Brock comes down the entryway, and Lashley comes out the ring to confront him, and Lashley picks him up, slams Bobby into the ring apron, then throws him into the ring post.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bobby Lashley throws Lesnar into the ring post, then he spears him through the barricade.
And that was an ugly spear. Like, he landed on the way he landed. He didn't land flat.
Yeah,
like it was ugly.
Yeah, but it was effective.
Very effective.
And then you had the talent, referees, and your boy Adam Pearce comes out to try to separate. And then Bobby Lashley gets loose and spears him. Well, tried to spear him through the announce table. The announce table did break.
So
I don't know if that was intended or not, but he does that, to get the fight on the ground, and then Lashley kind of slams him into the announce table.
And man, look, that was a lovely, lovely spine buster, and a beautiful way to establish that Brock is not your end boss that you thought he was. That Bobby Lashley can be right up there with him, which they have been booking Bobby strong.
Yeah.
So there's no way you could have came in this making Bobby look weak.
Think about what happened in January this year, how they booked Bobby to be Bobby nothing. The way how they booked him, how Lesnar was so superior to Bobby, you're nothing.
Yeah.
You ain't on my level, not jokes. And now look at Lashley now, how they booking him.
Yes.
Now, okay, you got me last week, coming to lose my belt this week. Yeah, I'm on you.
I'm on you for real. I'm trying to kill you.
And they made Lashley look vicious. Get off me. For real, this is probably the best since this is the best I've seen Lashley since his run in 2020.
Yeah.
When he first got the belt, when he was with the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
This is about as strong as I've seen him look.
This is peak Hurt Business right here.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Now I want to see this match, because I feel like they're going to have a solid match, and it's going to be no shenanigans, because neither one has a manager now. We can have a flat out to what Big E say, 2 big, strong men slapping me, or whatever he said.
Yeah, so you're right, because the first time they met at the Royal Rumble in January, you had kind of like the MVP thing, the interference, but you also had that Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman element flying above Lesnar's head, which happened, in the Royal Rumble that caused Lashley to win the first one.
Yeah. And I'm ready to see this as a real match. And I'm okay. No disrespect.
Yeah.
To the pay-per-view, no disrespect to Rehad, but I would rather it not be on Crown Jewel.
I said that last night when I was watching it.
Yeah, I'd rather it be like Survivor Series.
I wish it was on Survivor Series.
Yeah, or the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Like one of the big four. But, it is what it is. And, hopefully this is one of the things. Because I'm going to tune into Crown Jewel. Yeah. Mainly because I want to see Logan Paul get squashed. And I want to see Bobby and Brock do their thing. Okay. But, I'm going to actually watch it this time. I normally skip over Crown Jewel. I do too. And I'll just spot watch and figure out what the matches are that I want to see. There's been some heartbreaking matches. Shout out to Undertaker.
Oh, the Undertaker Goldberg match.
Man.
Goldberg squashing Bray Wyatt.
That I'm still mad at that to this day.
The Crown Jewel pay-per-view has been nothing, other than Titus Neal running and going
sliding under the ring.
Other than that, them Crown Royal pay-per-view has been cursed.
Just for the fact you call it Crown Royal.
Yeah, it needs to be called Crown Royal.
Bruh.
It's Crown Jewel, but it's going to be Crown Royal. They have a big bottle of Crown Royal on the stage.
Look at how far they come, though. Because you think about Mansoor was the Undertaker of Crown Jewel. Any Saudi show they had, whoever Mansoor fought, from Dolph to Cesaro, whoever it was, he was winning. Now look at where he at. Getting destroyed by LA Knight as a maximum male model. How far have we fallen?
Yeah. So that whole segment that Lashley, Lesnar, it's so hard to say Lashley, Lesnar. You know what I'm saying? You say that by Lashley,
Lashley, Lesnar.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a great segment. So we go on to the next segment or next match. You had the OC. We called them the club, but they're the OC.
The OC.
The original club, pretty much. The OC, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson with AJ Styles versus Alpha Academy. I liked the match. It was a good little match to kind of establish Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson back into WWE. Like, let people see how they work. So I'm all right with that match. And Alpha Academy, a good worker. So they're going to be in the Dolph Ziggler role.
Yeah, they're pretty much going to be there. It's one of those things to where you really can't really get around it. I mean, they're good, but they're comedic. So they can kind of slide in whatever they need to slide into. And you can have a good match. And speaking of my boy Dolph, we're going to talk about him later.
Ooh,
but
we'll
talk about him later. But yeah, I'm still a fan of Alpha Academy. But hey, man, the OC's back, and they got AJ's back, and hopefully this Judgment Day thing, all that comes to a head at some point.
Which, after that match, Judgment Day, they come out.
Mm-hmm.
Finn Balor said, he started the club. Everybody knows what club we're talking about.
Of course.
Yeah. He said he started the stupid club, and, he'll be the one that, he started it, he can end it. And he challenged the OC to a match. I said match. A match at Crown Jewel. And AJ accepted. And he said, why wait till then? Let's do this now. And you know who picked up the mic. And they booed him.
Oh, yeah.
He's starting to have go away heat.
Look here, man. Dominic, I'm trying my hardest to get behind Dominic. This is like when, honestly, what's a good comparison? You remember 1, 2, 3 Kid?
Yep.
The gumball babyface. I mean, his name is 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Yep.
He come in, he beat Razor, he does his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, he starts getting a little bit more edge on him, but he's still a 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Yeah.
He goes to WCW and becomes 6, and all of a sudden he's cool, and he hanging with the NWO.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while to get used to that, but he fell into the role, and by the time he transitioned back to X-Pac, I almost forgot that he was the 1, 2, 3 Kid, because that's how good he did it. That's a path to me that Dominic's going to have to take. He's going to have to really get us to the point to where we forget the Dominic Mysterio part, the Mysterio part of his name. I want Dominic to establish himself as what is Dominic besides Rey Mysterio's son that's trying to be a rebel.
Yeah, because, and I think that's where 80% of his backlash comes from. Well, you're only here because of your dad. And now that you turned on him, what we need you here for?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, you turn on your dad. You're not that good.
You emulate his moves.
Yep, you're not that good. Like, why are you here? I say give the kid a break, but I also say he needs to go back to NXT. If Charlotte Flair had to go to NXT, you should too.
Yeah, I agree.
What I'm saying? Like,
I agree.
I think he needs to go back to NXT. But like I told you, I want to say last week is their plan is they're going to have him with Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley, and see if they can mold him. That's the plan. They're going to try to stick with it.
I wish him good luck. If we trying to do an Evolution type route, I wish them luck. I mean, in Evolution, we saw the growth of Randy. We saw the growth of Batista underneath the tutelage of Ric Flair and Triple H.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, we saw their growth there, but, I mean, we're not talking about Ric Flair and Triple H right now. We're talking about Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Rhea Ripley. They are, with the exception of Finn.
Yeah.
And
I think it's mostly under Finn. I don't think it's about Damian Priest and Rhea. I think it's mostly about Finn Balor that he's under. Because Finn Balor already been on an interview already and said that he's already like helping Dominic. So I think it's more about Finn Balor than the other two.
Well, Prince Finn need to make sure he got Dominic polished. Because at this point in time, I don't care to see him on my TV.
I really don't. But I don't. Now that the Brave Mysterio's on SmackDown.
I know that made it worse.
There's really no reason because that's the only part that people cared about is what he's going to do or what his dad's going to do next. So
yeah,
that's really it. So we go to the next segment, and your boy Seth freaking Rollins is the new U.S. champion. He beat Bobby Lashley fair and square.
Huh?
Yeah, he did.
On what planet did he do that?
He did. He beat Bobby Lashley fair and square. Bobby said ring the bell. It wasn't Seth Rollins that attacked him. Like, don't get mad at him. He didn't have to accept that match.
Look here, man. Seth Rollins did what Seth Rollins does. They call him the architect for a reason. He also plays mind games, and he got in Bobby's head. And, of course, Bobby having pride, he said the right words, ticked the right boxes, and Bobby came in there and fought. Was it a smart idea? No. But he fought as an honorable champion, as a fighting champion. And, I can't defend the stupidity of going in there, but, Seth got the W, but he can't come out here and parade like he did it by himself.
Well, he did, and when you know it, Mustafa Ali comes out.
Dressed like an extra from You Got Served.
I was about to call. What was the dude in WCW? Was it
Evan Courageous?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, sir.
With the braids.
Yes, sir. 3 count.
3 count. With Tank Abbott.
Man, don't bring me back to Tank Abbott. But he comes down and tells Seth, I'm the new problem. You don't have to worry about it. He won his title shot. My fault. His title opportunity. I thought they was done with that crap, but anyway.
I thought they were too. I mean, he put up a good match with Bobby, and I mean, they let him showcase his skills, which we all know he can go.
Yeah.
I even watched him on 205 Live. For the few of us that watched it, I watched him on him and Tony Nese, and all them used to have some bangers. But
speaking of like shows that people don't watch, I swear I was at the house last night, and after Raw, I was on YouTube and Impact popped up because it was Bully Ray confronts Josh Alexander, and I watched that. I think his name's Josh Alexander on Impact, the champion.
Yeah,
and it was the most boring 8 minutes of my life.
Impact just ain't it, man.
Dude, I was watching it and I was like, "What is this,
dude?"
Bully Ray can't. They got something called Call Your Shot. Yeah. Kind of like a Money in the Bank Call Your Shot. And this man's carrying around a Little League trophy as the Call Your Shot. You know how the Money in the Bank has the briefcase, and you're supposed to have a contract in your hand. Then he had like one of those Little League trophies when you win in second place. That's what Bully Ray's walking around with on Impact. That's to Call Your Shot.
They got a participation trophy.
Lou, I ought to show you the picture. You know what? I'm gonna try to see. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Hey. Like, dude, it's ridiculous, man. They ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on.
Like,
this dude about to bring up.
Like, hopefully we can, because I ain't trying to. Let me see. He walking around with it. Man, he probably ain't gonna have it walking around. I'll have to show you. I had to show you.
That's not even in the search.
He ain't even
can't bring it up.
But anyway, it was the most boring. Yeah, I have to show you later.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Anyway, next segment, Damage Control with Dakota Kai and Io Scott versus Candice LeRae and Bianca Belair. This match I loved. I love this match.
And what did you love about this match, Cal?
That Bianca Belair lost.
I knew he was going to say that. But let's keep in mind, the Poison Pixie got pinned. All right, Bianca didn't get pinned. As a matter of fact,
because she was on the laid out in the announcer's table. Yeah, of course she didn't get
Bianca
pinned.
was dealing with Bayley, who's been a nuisance the whole match.
Here you go.
Now look, I'm tired of Bay Leno. All right?
Who?
Bay Leno.
Bay Leno?
Bay Leno.
Okay.
I'm tired of Bay Leno. What we need to do, we need to go ahead and let Bianca just handle it one more good time. Take her out the game. And we'll be all right. She need to whip with that braid. She need to get whipped with the braid. And it's it. That's it. End it. If she can go home, what? Ding dong, hello. Ding dong, goodbye. Go on back to wherever she at. Her and Damage Control.
She's here to stay. So get over it. It was I'm not gonna lie, the match wasn't all that. It was just a way to further the Bianca Belair feud.
Well, pretty much.
Also, Jay appeared. Like, it's crazy to NXT kind of appeared on this show.
Yeah.
So Cora Jade appeared. She talked to Rhea Ripley to see if she would go to NXT to fight Roxanne Perez on Tuesday as part of the Pick Your Poison concert they have on NXT. And Rhea says she's in. So on NXT, you're gonna have Rhea Ripley back on NXT. How you feel about that?
You know what? It's gonna put eyes on the product.
Yeah.
Because that's more of a reason to watch NXT. Because NXT, and it's obvious with the stuff they're doing, they turned a lot of people off for 2.0.
Yep.
Even though I had my favorites on there.
Yep.
The diehard fans gonna watch whatever you put out until you make us like, okay, we can't do it anymore.
Yep.
See, Saturday morning, what was the Saturday morning WWE show they had?
Saturday Morning Slam, wasn't it?
Saturday Morning Slam, where it was like a PG, 100% cartoonish.
Boy,
that was bad.
That was bad.
Extra bad.
Oh, man.
But even us true fans was hoping for something better. With NXT, it's like I watched it every week in hopes it would get better. And you always had the Carmelo match. You always had the Flash match. You always had a Braun Breaker segment. You had a Toxic.
Love them.
I knew you about to say something. Toxic Attraction segment.
Mm-hmm.
You had
no fake Becky Lynch in my top 5.
No, we know.
All right.
You always had like a few that you could tune in for, but for every one of them, you had a Chase University, or you had a Gacy, and I wonder what they're gonna do with Gacy now, seeing as though Bray Wyatt's actually back. Because he was Bray Wyatt like.
Yeah, no. But he's more like, he supposed to be more like the Jim Jones, Colt Leader type.
But that's who Bray is.
If you think that was Bray was at first.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
I think now Bray is more. I don't think he's more Jim Jones. I think he's more like Devil's Rejects type.
I can see that.
He's way up in there now.
He's the 3 faces of Foley.
Yeah, he over there in that range.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna get on that in a little bit too, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, he over there. So John Bradshaw Layfield is back.
Oh my goodness. Horrible.
Boy, he pretty much came on there and was like, Rey Mysterio went to SmackDown, and because, his son called him what he really is, a snake, blah, 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 blah. He's here to introduce a guy who could have made it in the Attitude Era. the new wrestling god, Baron Corbin.
Look here.
I'm gonna let y'all. And he trashed out Dolph Ziggler, which we're gonna get into. You go ahead.
First of all, Jibble. I'm gonna give his acronym a name. Jibble. Jibble. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for JBL. Of all the people to bring back, and don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Corbin, the performer, because whatever you give him, he goes all in on.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's the dumbest thing ever, even Broke Corbin, he made Broke Corbin work. He had my fiance sympathetic.
Yeah, Broke Corbin was great.
Broke Corbin was great. He had the hair growing out. It was crazy. But this new I got money, I run with JBL thing, I don't think he even needs JBL to talk for him. That's the thing. It's like he can talk for himself. It's like JBL basically is just there to ride, I don't know. He bragged on him the whole time on commentary because, they talked about Dolph, so Dolph had to come out. It was a match. And the whole time, JBL praising him, dissing Dolph, talking about how Dolph been taking money from the WWE for 15 years.
That's fine.
Even though Dolph has, as far as accolades, likability, match quality, far exceeds JBL, which the wrestling guy thing, if y'all remember, was actually a joke. It was a rib because JBL, as a single superstar, nah. Outside the clothesline from hell and the fallaway slam and the big boot, what do you remember as JBL's, star moves? What do you remember his
just a clothesline
defining moments in matches besides getting beat and retired by Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania?
I don't know. Getting beat by John Cena?